Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday edition of your breakfast show, Leadership Television Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred, your host on the program. We sincerely apologize for bringing this program a bit behind schedule. We were experiencing some technical glitches. So, on this first segment of the show, we'll quickly run through some of the headline stories today on some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership's leading story says ALAU dam collapse, our livelihoods washed away by flood, Borno residents. ALAU dam collapse, our livelihoods washed away by flood, Borno residents. And the kickers cry out for food, shelter, portable water, say flood came like a thief. UN raises the alarm over cholera outbreak, malnutrition. 37 kids, 400,000 displaced, NEMA. Presidency NAS device relief strategy. Leading story today on leadership, still on the ALAU dam collapse in Borno 2 days ago. Federal government partners traders to curb consumer exploitation. Story runs on page 23 of leadership. And on the business boards, Nigeria loses $1.5 billion to open defecation. Underneath that, 9 die in Kano Zaria road crash. Hashtag end bad governance protesters get 100 million naira bill. Petrol jacks Nigeria's import bill to 12.5 trillion naira in second quarter. 10 die, 3 injured in Oyo header/farmer clash. And above the masthead of leadership, Kano education reform, inspiration to other northern states stakeholders. Countdown to Edo 2024, PDP may not sign peace accord of Obaseki, the governor of the state. And that takes us to the page 3 where we have our stand. Today's stand is on criminalizing dissent in Nigeria. Criminalizing dissent in Nigeria, talking about the hashtag end bad governance protest. From our stand, we move over briskly to the back page where we are being blunt with Muazu Elize. Eliza is writing on flood worsens our existential threat, still on the flood situation in the country right now. And with that, we conclude review of front, inside, and back pages of leadership today. For more, log on to www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we just take another paper that has different main headline story today on the cover, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian says, policing amid lean resources, federal government spends 131 billion naira subsidizing VIP's protection yearly. Policing amid lean resources, federal government spends 131 billion naira subsidizing VIP's protection yearly. And the illustration, as usual, average Nigerian police force basic pay monthly. We have, of the 400,000 policemen in the country, 150,000 officers are attached to VIPs and unauthorized persons. We have 711,450 naira. We have 546,572 naira. These are basic salaries for the average Nigerian police force in Nigeria. In 2021, we have 455 billion naira as a police budget. 2022, 559 billion naira. 2023 to 838 billion naira. And this year, 2024, we have 969.6 billion naira as the Nigerian police force budget. Underneath that, flood, over 280 inmates escaped from Maiduguri Correctional Center. Bureaucracy, how not to promote child adoption policy. Depreciation weakens import as trade surplus hits 6.95 trillion naira in second quarter. Obaseki downbeat on signing peace accord as Edo Guba tensions heighten. NCDC confirms 67 mpox cases, 982 Lassa fever cases, 168 deaths. Court grants 10 hashtag end bad governance protesters 900 million naira bill. And local government poll NNPP kicks as 20 aspirants fail drug test in Kano. That concludes review of front headline stories on The Guardian. For more, log on to the website, even as we move to the next paper, Vanguard. Vanguard's main headline story says IMF to federal government protect the poor from impact of petrol price hike. IMF to federal government protect the poor from impact of petrol price hike. Says petrol still selling below market price. Calls for product availability competition. IMF's rights experts. And we also have pictures of the same flooding that took place in Maiduguri underneath that headline story. UNICEF demands urgent action against child poverty in Northeast. Borno flood, we are still trapped, can't access work, business places, victims. Will partner states to combat flood, VP Shettima. And in sports, Eguavoin still in charge of Super Eagles. Above the mindset of Vanguard, Finance Minister Customs meet to implement zero duty on food imports. Treason, court grants 10 #end bad governance protesters 100 million naira bail. Edo Guba, tension as IGP Obaseki PDP disagree. Will deploy 35,000 policemen, 8,000 other security agents. IGP Egbetokun. And with that, we conclude review of front headline stories today on Vanguard. For more, log on to the website. And with Vanguard, we also bring the first half of this segment, Inside Nigeria, to a close as we get set for the second segment of the program for our guests in the studio. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Program is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast from Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber once again. Of course, my Thursday guest is a political economist, public affairs analyst, Olamileko Adebolari. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I want to keep you up to speed. Of course, you are aware of what's been happening. The collapse of ALAU Dam in Maiduguri, which has wreaked havoc on residents and even in the metropolis. The question is, most times when the rainy season we have rainy season, you see NIMET agencies, federal government agencies issuing alert to citizens to vacate flood-prone areas. However, we see in these instances, federal government actually folding his hands, thinking that it has nothing to do. These are dams that even there were reports that they were been like having issues with the federal government and even the state government did nothing to tackle it. These are dams that ought to have gone through integrity tests to see whether they are still very, very active. And it's not only in Borno State, we are having similar scenarios playing out in other states.
Exactly. Although from a critical perspective, the question we asked was that when last was allowed dam overflow? Yes. Overflow is banned and is limit. It's been long. It was just this year. All this while we have been having flood The one that happened in 2012, the one that happened in 2020.
Yes, I think it happened in 19, like, we are talking about maybe 30 years or so. And it also happened in September. In 1990 now.
But what I'm trying to point out, that the dam itself, when did it overflow? When we have this kind of flood emergency record in Borno? Because a lot of conspiracy theories now really into the issue that it's like it was a setup. They allowed this to happen. Because
from a report that said from an NGO CSO also raised the alarm that even the manager of the dam saw that there were crabs or something like that and did nothing. He actually put that.
Although about 3 weeks ago, there was, when the dam started, the water level in that dam started rising, started raising issues. But what I'm trying to point out was that Lake Chad is dried up. That such water is supposed to go to Lake Chad. How come that such water was not diverted to Lake Chad? How come that the water that was coming from KB, from Yobe, from Chad Republic perverted its way to the dam? What about Lake Chad that have been drying up? Because that's why conspiracy theories are now coming that there could be a deliberate attempt to just bring this emergency situation to Maiduguri. Then what about other part of the state? They were not affected. It's only Maiduguri metropolitan that was affected 70% of the city. So it shows that even though government negligence has been, it also shows that the failure of the government from the inception to allow to ensure that that allowed dam is well protected, is well secure, has been there for a very long time. And it could be something that they planned for themselves, because most of us that went through documents around the dam discovered particularly this dam has been there for many years. It has never been this kind of disaster happening. Then the one that now called to question was, what about Lake Chad that we have been crying out that is getting dry? Such water that is coming from all these other places doesn't divert to the place. So those are the issues. But we sympathize with the residents and citizens, indigenous of Borno State, particularly Maiduguri residents, for the issue or for the problem that have been faced right now. But we just hope that drastic action can be taken. Although reports have shown that the water has started receding, going down. But you know what it means. Another emergency funding and the rest of them is coming up.
But that also brings us to this question: why is it that the federal government has not actually gone about lasting solutions to tackling this flood issue in Nigeria?
It's not that the federal government doesn't want to.
Talking about dams and other stuff. What is it doing to build the dam that can accommodate these waters that are coming from?
Apart from the dams accommodating, apart from those dams accommodating those water, a lot of urban renewal have taken place across Nigeria. New cities are springing up. Areas that are flood prone are now being overtaken by estate houses, resident areas, like the Maiduguri aspect that we're talking about. A particular area that's supposed to accommodate the water for a very long time before it gets to the city, they say it has been overtaken by resident building and restaurants. So because of that, it also obstructs the waterway of a sort. Then another issue has to do with the government of Borno State.
Remember, there was a report or it's saying that the federal government did have a commitment or agreement with the Cameroon that when they opened their last Gidi dam and other stuff, that Nigeria also had agreement to build its own dam, which has not been forthcoming.
But this particular water that is coming is not from Maiduguri.
I know. I'm just talking about finding a lasting solution to this flood issue. Because every year we keep having this kind of situation, yet nothing has been done to prevent it.
For me, it's just a matter of a government taking action on something they're supposed to do. Not that they are lacking funds to carry out those projects. The only thing is the laxity of the part of the government to ensure that they do this. And again, we should not just streamline this issue and put the pressure on the government to do it. State government can also build dams.
Yes, we are not talking about federal government. When we say government, now we are not
entire government.
Because every time that NIMET, the agencies involved, issue alert, it's always to the citizen. Vacate flood-prone areas. But what about the government? They just put their hands and say, okay, yes, listen to them. Like, what is your own part? What is your own role, your own responsibility towards tackling this once and for all?
I think the first thing for the government to do is those flood-prone areas that people are now taking over as residents as building, they should evacuate them and evacuate them permanently. It shouldn't be a resident area, because those are the areas that could be semi-dams that could be built. Because if you have discovered a particular area will absorb every water that is coming, you don't turn that place to a mini dam or a semi dam that could.
Is it that trade more in Abuja?
For instance, a mini dam can be built there, so of turning the place to a resident area. I think that could be a very sharp, quick means of stopping some of this flood water that come into the city. The other thing is that we already know that this tackling issues of flooding, dam their what they call sludge fund. So on the part of the government, it can't happen. These are normal local balance. So it won't happen. God will help us issue like the one that happened in erosion money that was given to state governor that they refused to do. Those are the ways
the former governor of Plateau State was actually taken to court.
Exactly
that. On account of ecological.
He's not the only one. Others also participated in looting such money, but nothing was done. What another point is that there are slush money put somewhere for this particular project. But the other day, a particular newspaper brought about we have over 188 dams across Nigeria. Southwest alone has about 36 of them. I can't figure out the numbers of the rest of this.
Are they still viable?
The issue is that some of them are viable, some of them are not viable. Not that the viability is not that because they are too old. We just need to equip them more and to expand them, because most of these dam area, like if you are going to Lagos now, if you pass through Ibadan, there's a dam in Ibadan. If you are entering Ibadan, but guess what? Opposite the dam is a resident area. Beside the dam is a resident area. This side of the dam is a resident area. So what will happen by the time the dam overflow? So what I'm trying to point out, in as much as the technical aspect of the dam need to be repaired in a way that resident areas, the urban area or urban renewal that are taking place within that sector where we have that, they should collapse those really not supposed to exist there. And that's what really happened in the Medjugorje, because places that houses were built block the waterway, and the water doesn't have any other access again to enter the city. And when you enter the city, you pour into areas that are more poor people. You ask yourself, government area that the government office, the dam, the water didn't go there. And it's not because the place is in high prone area or high area, but because it has already been planned that if the water comes, to not get to the government facility area, but it went into the poor people area, farms and the rest places. Because for those of us who look at it critically, this can be prevented a long time ago, because the first question I asked was that when last did this dam overflow since it has been
yes
built?
I think it was in 1999. I was hearing reading
then
about
1999
or September.
And when we had
when
we had serious flooding in Nigeria in
96 or so.
when we had serious flooding in Nigeria in 2012, is it 2012? The one that 2012, yes, 2012, 2020,
So
2020.
Jonathan's time.
Jonathan's time. We had twice during the Buhari time, 2020 and 2020,
Yes.
2022. That dam will never overflow. We never had issue with flooding in Medjugorje. But why now?
No.
And people are already reading, meaning that the issue about terrorism is already piling down. No more NGO activity. So there could be another opportunity to create another crisis or emergency crisis within that area, so that these emergency programs and the rest of them can continue. And you can see within one day, alarmings are already coming out. There's going to be cholera, there's going to be disease, there's going to be this.
Yes.
So before you know it, all this will be taken over, and before you know,
And there was
money that's
still
supposed to meant for betterment of the people will be diverted to things that are not necessary.
It's really, really sad. Anyway, moving away from flood, we have the Vanguard headline story today. It says IMF to federal government protect the poor from impact of petrol price hike. However, the writer says petrol still selling below market price. How much does IMF want? And many people have actually been criticizing Tinubu for just wanting to do IMF say so or whatever IMF says to the letter.
It's quite sad because it's a neoliberal policy for government to say they are not subsidizing one of the most commonest.
But why would a federal government, even before coming in, decide to toe IMF's stance? Given what played out during Babangida's time.
You know, SAP and the thing is that neoliberal policy is still existing in Nigeria, although there have been a rebranding of those neoliberal policy after Babangida time. But it became more entrenched when we embraced democratic election process. Representative government we call democracy, which is capitalist communal government. And the other aspect is that we must also accept the policy of the economy, which means that government must not be found in businesses. And that's what IMF is just trying to say. Because what IMF is trying to say is that,
because you know, when during that increase in fuel sales of fuel PMS, the same IMF said, you know, that electricity subsidy should also be removed. When we thought that no, Tinubu was not going to control to it, suddenly we heard that he agreed to that. And now the same IMF is saying, insisting that petrol is still below market price.
The issue is that we must understand this.
Even though Nigerians are already paying above 1,000 naira for it per liter.
It stand on two prong factor. One, crude oil and electricity issues are internationally competitive pricing. Now, one of the reasons why it is internationally competitive pricing is because since we have opened our economy, we have embraced democratic capitalist democracy. We must also accept that economic principles which means that government must not be found in commanding height of the economy, like energy, like crude oil, petroleum products, like food production. Government must leave all this in the hand of what? Private businesses. So that private businesses, to attract global private business individuals across the world, investors, you must also align the pricing of your commodity locally to international pricing. I don't know whether you get it. That international pricing will allow investors to come in, to have confidence in your economy and be able to invest. But if your price is being regulated and controlled by government, investors will not come in. So since we have agreed to go the line of capitalist democracy, we must also agree to go the line of the economic principles, which means that private investors will come in. Just 2 days back, we have gotten to know that the domestic US bound, the government have gotten over subscription over 400 million. They are looking for 500 million. Now they got 900 million years. It means that even though it is domestically sought for, we didn't go to Eurobond and the rest of them, but it also has an hand of investors, global investors in it, because how many Nigerians can go and afford to be buying $10,000? That's the minimum you can buy. A lot of people bought it and oversubscribed. So what that gives us is that international competition has come into our economy. So we must also allow that international competition of pricing to also flow through. And what it means is that when we begin to apply such into our economy, the poor will suffer, because their international pricing competition will not be that whatever is being paid in US will be transmitted and translated into our economy. If they are paying $1.2 per barrel of, per pump liter of fuel, we must also do the same thing. So unless we change it, and to change that will be very difficult for us, because we have a lot of businesses who are also enjoying from this international price competition. 2 days back, NBS came up with our export and import report. Nigeria gained over 6 trillion naira was gained as part of.
And I actually asked myself, how come?
Because we are importing now. They only give us the import side. The export side is very low.
Okay, yes.
The import side is very high, but the export side is very low. And what it means is that because we are importing, we gain the price coming to our economy, the price modulated in a way that all the price of those goods and services will increase. Our export also gain, because although we are not exporting much, but the one we export we also gain through high dollar. All our brothers that are doing export business, they also gain. So on one hand we gain very low, but on the other hand we lost very high, which is the international price transmission into our economy. And that is why if they say even though our PMS price is still selling below international price, it's because we are not gotten to that level, and the government is still trying as much as possible to go to that level. We are the one dragging them back. We are the one dragging the government back, because if they go headlong to that, petrol will be selling for 2,000 per liter.
Yes, Afenifere and even Ghana, they are already inviting Tinubu over the economic situation we have in presently. However, moving over to the Guardian, we have also different story entirely as discovered today. It says policing and mid-lane resources. Federal government spends 131 billion naira subsidizing VIP's protection yearly.
It's quite sad. For many of us that will be looking at it, how are they subsidizing? Is there subsidy in police also? What they are trying to say is that the numbers of policemen that are guiding VIPs are many. Yes. And so those numbers are supposed to be guiding poor people, and because they are guiding VIP, government is spending more on those, and that subsidy means that the money that government is supposed to.
However, if I may also intervene, these VIPs or these policemen that are attached to VIPs, do you know that VIPs actually pay for their services?
It's a business at the IG office. It's a department in the police. So one
begins to wonder, so how is federal government subsidizing it?
What they are looking at the salary level of those policemen. They are looking at their salaries, they are looking at their pensions, they calculate. Those are the angle they are looking at. The government can be doing this, and the other people also what is the gain? Meanwhile, everybody is supposed to get his own private security. Those are the angle that the newspaper is looking at it, which is quite very interesting. That's why they talk about the subsidy, because what they are trying to say is that the money that government is paying for this set of policemen, on the other way around, it is supposed to be the payment done by the people who hire them, like the diplomatic corps. Or what I should be putting now is that the money that police is generating through this private security guard of Nigerian policemen for VIP, can they also bring that money to the budget, to the national budget, or to the consolidated account of the federal government? Because that will also help to boost the budget of the Nigerian police at the end of the day. You get it? So that's what they are trying to point out. But we just hope that the authority will listen to this report and be able to fine tune. Because there is sense in what they are saying. Federal government is paying all the salaries of these people. Meanwhile, they are not guiding the Nigerians that are being paid for. They are guiding somebody else who has money, who can hire his own guard. That's what the report is trying to pinpoint to us.
Thank you so much. Now, lastly, that is a story that is also on the cover of all the papers today on our menu. The court grants 10 hashtag end bad governance protesters 100 million naira bail.
Like 10 million per each head for each of them, which I know that.
So, but how is this so? Is protesting not fundamental human right?
I think what the court have found out is that the government didn't just take them to court as protesters. I think they also lump up the charges of
treason,
damages of government properties and all. If you ordinary, if that was not part of the charges, the bail will not be.
I don't think these people that were caught that have been tried today were the ones that were involved in.
You know, when the state want to punish someone, an innocent person, they bring a lot of baggages of weight of court sentences on the person. But if it was to be an VIP now, his bail may not be up to that amount, but at the end of the day, we'll be able to go out of it. But for the poor man, like this set of people, you know that it's just a form of punishment.
And the same federal government is still tying Nigeria to it. Initially, we were told that the foreigner used his
labor house. Well, I think that the Nigerian one is because maybe because he was on the watch list and because the foreigner has not been arrested yet, and again because of the solidarity that foreigner has been giving to NLC. And again, because of the launch fund they trace to some individual people. It is what the government is particularly interested in is the money. So where is this money coming from? Who is funding this protest? That's what they are looking for. That's why they want to punish these young guys with a 10 million bail bond on them. Although bail bond with a landed property in FCT. I know they will be able to meet that, but we just hope that.
But however, in our son, Femi Falana, who are representing them in court, did say that even the president was also part of a protest in times past, and yet he was not charged for treason.
I think that's the biggest charge that the government is bringing on them, treason, to make it look big. That's why when they present their case file to the judge was also surprised. Is it protest or terrorism? Yes. So I think the judge is looking at the angle of the terrorism charges against the people, not really as regards to protest that they organize.
So have we seen the end already?
At the bail condition, I believe they will meet it, but and the government may not want to relent on the trial because they may want to continue. They may want to continue, but that's why we have to now call the government to, even though if the court release them on the basis of bail, allow these people to go. Just leave them, let them go, because that's not the issue that the government is supposed to focus. The government is supposed to focus on the issues that raise hunger, lack of money in the hands of people, and the rest of those are the issues.
And you know that was exactly what Ajero was trained of during the protest, that the federal government should listen to. So that perhaps they want to also. It's part of their punishment what they have against Ajero. He was kept saying that yes, they should listen to them, they should not shoot and all whatnot. However, well, you know, we still have the echoes of the SARS, NSAS.
That one. I think the last set of people under the NSAS were just released. Recently too.
Okay, with that we bring the end.
I thought you would let us talk about the PDP that say they are not signing peace party.
The Edo Guba election that is just
because people are started raising eyebrow. It's like Obaseki is in the handwriting
of the war. No, that police is involved because he was of this. I'm looking at several other report that says that the police deployed about over 37,000 men to come and man the election, which Obaseki is not actually comfortable with. Of course, you are in this country, you see situations whereby police actually help in election rigging.
Doing is when he was contesting in second term, over 41,000 policemen was deployed. Less than this one is 35.
Those ones that were deployed, they were actually peaceful ones. They were not meant to. You saw what happened.
This one too will do.
Like Buhari, and of course, many people were also of the opinion that Buhari was not actually interested in that election. Yes, he was never interested in that election. So he allowed peace to reign, and he allowed the people of the state to exercise
who they vote
for.
But the governor's fear, from what I also read in one of the daily, was that because the commissioner of police in Edo State and the INEC resident commissioner are friends to Wiki.
Yes, I remember 2 weeks ago, or like just few weeks ago, they removed.
It is normal. It has been done. That's what government have been doing over
that
the years.
Alone. So I'm really I see his fears anyway. You understand?
But that was the same thing they did when he was his first time when he was contesting. The commissioner What commissioner of police was
So
to
I
do.
see where his fears are coming from anyway, because
He's a politician.
and don't forget that the president was then this present president was the one that was using campaign slogan that time. Edo no be Lagos. So now that he's heading the place, so I can actually see the governor's fears.
But me, I see his problem from the real PDP himself, the real PDP, the real national PDP, who are not in support of Obaseki PDP in Edo State, because the current executive of PDP in Edo State are stooges who came with him from APC. So his challenge is not just with the APC, his challenge is within the PDP himself as it stands.
Now, apart from the stooges, remember Obaseki also fought the PDP national deputy
Dan Obi.
Yes, Dan Obi, and of course that was what played out why they didn't get too many seats
exactly
in the house. It was a protest vote they had for this government. Well, however, as it is, few days, let's just see. They are going to the polls.
I mean, I see a peaceful election coming up. I don't see anybody, because even whether he signed the peace code or not, after the peace code has become ceremonious. Nobody believes in it. It doesn't hold water. People can still go violent. But I see a peaceful election coming up. I just hope that the result will be accepted by all.
Yes. All right, viewers. With that, we come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. Yes, Edo Guba cruise is coming up next week. For them, for the people of the state to cast their vote for the next governor of the state. Well, we hope that the outcome will be a successful one, and that one that is accepted by all the candidates. So thank you so much, Olanilekan. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. This is where we draw the curtain on today's program. We apologize once again for bringing this program a bit behind schedule. My name is Unyo Kwedigo. Don't forget to join us for news on the hour on this station. Till I come your way again, same time, same station, for another fresh edition of the program tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. There's one.
Edo is at
086886155 Podcast Studio. You have the last